I'm Debra Meiburg, and I'm with Tim Kidman of Kidman Wine Co, which is based in Coonawarra in southern Australia. Tim, tell us a little bit about the property. Why are you in this particular area?
We've been farming in the region since my father moved there. I was born and grew up there. He bought his first farm in 1950. And over the years we've accumulated a little bit more land. We've been sheep and cattle graziers for most of our lives. And my grandfather planted a small portion of vineyard in Coonawarra in the end of the 60s. In 1969 he planted a vineyard. We remained the smallest grower in Coonawarra for nearly 25 years. In the 90s wine boom decided that we better be part of this, and we continued to plant vineyards, and now we have 150 acres in Coonawarra. In 2004 we made our first wine, the Roy the Cattleman Coonawarra Cabernet Sauvignon.
And tell me about the label Roy.
Roy is my grandfather. Moved to Coonawarra region in the 1920s.
So this is a Cabernet Sauvignon.
This is a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Coonawarra has built its reputation.
Coonawarra has, it's interesting that Coonawarra's reputation originally was built on Shiraz. In 1950, Samuel Wynne planted Cabernet Sauvignon for a variety of viticulture reasons, mainly because we have cold, wet winters and autumns, and that reduces the climate risk of rot in the grapes. But since that time, we've found that Cabernet Sauvignon makes some pretty good wine too. And that's now become the specialist variety of Coonawarra.
And when you think of Cabernet from around Australia, say Margaret River's Cabernet, how would you describe the style of Coonawarra compared to the others?
The classic flavours of Coonawarra and the flavour profiles are cassis, or blackcurrant, and spice, which often comes from the oak. It's also the fine-grained tannins, and that's something that everybody else in Australia tries to replicate, but just can't quite manage it. Coonawarra does that really, really well. Now,
you weren't always planning to be a winemaker, so a few years back you were zipping around on motorbikes.
I've done a bit of work up the north in Queensland, and a whole year riding a motorbike, mustering sheep, cured me of a lot of motorbike riding.
Mustering sheep on the bike?
On the bike, we did hundreds of kilometres every day, day in, day out for months.
And then also you spent some time in South America.
And so I worked some time in Chile and Argentina on estancias in the Merino industry in those regions, right down south in the cold and windy country, and visited a few wineries as well, and that really kicked off my interest in wine.
And do you have family members involved in the business?
Yes, my brother, who's an architect in Adelaide, he's a business partner. We have our own vineyards, and we sell various vineyards grapes into our wine company. And he does a lot of the design work on labelling. This is one of his efforts here. And my sister's a chartered accountant, so she keeps the taxman away from us and keeps us out of jail.
And what's your favourite part of the job? What do you enjoy about this business?
There's something the bit I really enjoy is having our customers say, I really like that wine. For a farmer, that's really, really satisfying, that somebody has taken or sampled a product from your farm and said, I like that, I'd like some more, thank you very much. That's a major part of what keeps us going every day.
For people new to Cabernet Sauvignon, what should they expect of your wines?
Cabernet Sauvignon and Coonawarra in particular are very fruit-based, yet they have a backup of acid and tannin structure that will let them age beautifully if anywhere to drink from right now, but also this particular one will age probably up to 15 to 20 years, particularly with the screw cap.
And do you have any wine tasting tips or tricks?
The main thing is let them breathe.
Okay. How long would you let a wine breathe?
Some of these wines have been sitting in the bottle for several years, and anywhere up to a day. Is for a very, very good top-end wine. This one here, 2 or 3 hours in a decanter really makes an enormous difference.
Okay.
If you don't have 2 or 3 hours, just swirl it around in your glass.
I'll try to wait that long.
And otherwise, just swirl it around in the glass. That immediately aerates the wine and makes it taste so much better.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Tim.
A pleasure, Debra.